Your daily dose of calm. Your daily exhale in a breathless world. Audiobook. Reading by Coleman Hudson. Published by A.R.T. Audiobook. Introduction. The alarm isn't a gentle chime. It's a digital siren ripping you from a sleep that already felt too short. Before your eyes fully adjust, your hand is moving. A reflex honed by 1,000 hurried mornings. You grab the phone, and there it is. The first wave hits. 14 emails from work, 3 of which are marked urgent. A news alert about a global crisis. A text from your sister about a family drama that started last night. A notification that your credit card payment is due. A calendar reminder for a dentist appointment you'd forgotten wedged into an already impossible afternoon. Your feet haven't even touched the floor, but your heart is already racing. Your shoulders are tight, creeping up toward your ears. A low-grade anxiety begins to vibrate just beneath your skin. Welcome to the day. You navigate the morning on autopilot, a series of frantic transitions. You rush through a shower, your mind already rehearsing a difficult conversation you need to have with a colleague. You pour cereal for the kids while scanning a project update on your tablet. You sip your coffee, but you don't taste it. You're too busy mentally calculating how you'll get from that dentist appointment to your daughter's soccer practice on time. You get in the car, turn on a podcast to feel productive, but your mind just replays the one critical comment in an otherwise positive email. By the time you arrive at work or sit down at your home office, you don't feel rested and ready. You feel like you've already run a marathon. And the day has just begun. This state of being, this constant feeling of being one step behind, is what I call being wired and tired. Your mind is buzzing, overstimulated, and unable to switch off, while your body is profoundly exhausted. You live with a persistent tension in your jaw, a shallow quality to your breath, and the nagging sense that you're forgetting something important. You collapse into bed at night, but your brain won't stop spinning. You scroll through your phone for a brief hit of distraction, knowing it's making things worse, but unable to stop. You promise yourself tomorrow will be different, more organized, more patient, calmer. But tomorrow is always the same. If this sounds familiar, I want you to know 2 things. First, you are not alone. This is the silent epidemic of our time.
Second, and most importantly, you are not broken. There is nothing wrong with you. You haven't failed at wellness or time management. The truth is, you're a perfectly healthy human being living in a deeply unhealthy world. Our nervous systems, which evolved over millennia to handle short bursts of intense physical threats, like outrunning a predator, are now being activated 24/7 by abstract digital and emotional ones. That urgent email triggers the same internal chemistry as a tiger in the grass. Our ancient biology simply can't keep up with the speed of our modern lives. We are running Stone Age nervous systems on 21st century software, and it's causing the whole system to crash. I know this because my own system crashed. On the surface, I was successful. I had a demanding career, a loving family, and a full social life. I wore my busyness like a badge of honor. I believed the answer to feeling overwhelmed was to become more efficient, to optimize my schedule, to simply push harder. My mantra was, I'll rest when it's done. But of course, it was never done. My breaking point wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a public meltdown or a major health crisis. It was a Tuesday afternoon in a brightly lit grocery store. I had a long list and 20 minutes to get through it. As I stood in the cereal aisle, staring at a wall of colorful boxes, I suddenly couldn't make a decision. The music, the lights, the sheer number of choices, it all became a deafening roar. My vision tunneled, my breath caught in my chest. I felt a surge of panic so intense I had to abandon my half-full cart and walk out, empty-handed and ashamed. All I could think was, I can't even buy cereal. What is wrong with me? That moment of overwhelm was my wake-up call. It was the moment I realized that my strategy of white-knuckling my way through life wasn't just failing, it was actively harming me. I dove into research, searching for a better way. I read studies in neuroscience, psychology, and behavioral science. I talked to therapists, meditation teachers, and everyday people who seemed to have found a sense of ease in this chaotic world. What I discovered was both surprising and liberating. The answer wasn't a radical life overhaul. It wasn't about quitting my job, moving to a monastery, or meditating for an hour a day. The solution was smaller, much smaller. It was about learning to manage my stress and find my footing in the moment.
It was about finding small, repeatable ways to signal safety to my nervous system right in the middle of a stressful day. From that journey, a framework was born. It's a simple, memorable, and profoundly effective method I now call the A.R.T. of calm. It's a 3-step practice for navigating any moment of overwhelm, anxiety, or reactivity. It's a tool you can use in 30 seconds without anyone even knowing you're doing it. The A.R.T. of calm stands for A. Acknowledge. Gently notice what's happening within you. The tight chest, the racing thoughts, the surge of anger, without judgment or resistance. R. Reframe. Consciously shift your perspective and change the story you're telling yourself about the situation. T. Transition. Take a small, deliberate action to physically calm your body and mind, shifting you from a state of stress to a state of balance. This book is your guide to mastering this art. It's not about eliminating stress from your life. That's an impossible goal. It's about changing your relationship with stress. It's about learning to be the thermostat, not the thermometer. Instead of just reacting to the temperature of your circumstances, you will learn how to consciously set your own internal climate. This isn't another thing to add to your to-do list. This is a tool to make that list feel lighter. Think of it as your daily dose of calm, a small, potent practice that, when taken consistently, can have a transformative effect on your well-being. It is your daily exhale in a world that is constantly telling you to hold your breath. Together, we will explore the science behind why you feel the way you do, and we will build a practical, personalized toolkit of strategies to help you feel better. We will use stories of real people to see the A.R.T. of calm in action, at work, in our relationships, and in the conversations we have with ourselves. Change is possible. A calmer, more centered life is not out of reach. It begins with the very next moment, and the one after that. It begins with a single, conscious breath. Are you ready to take it? Chapter 1. The Breathless World. Why calm feels so out of reach. Have you ever stopped midday and just noticed the tension holding your shoulders like a vice, the faint but persistent ache behind your eyes, the shallow sips of air you're taking instead of full, deep breaths? You might be sitting perfectly still at your desk or standing in a line at the bank, yet your body is braced for impact. It's humming with a nervous energy that has no outlet, a silent alarm that never seems to switch off. This is the central paradox of modern life. We are physically safer than any generation in human history, yet we feel perpetually under threat. We aren't fending off predators or foraging for our next meal, but our bodies are acting as if we are. We feel a constant, low-grade agitation, a sense of being pursued by an invisible force. That force is the relentless pace, pressure, and overstimulation of our breathless world. To understand why calm feels so impossibly out of reach, we don't need to look at our planners or our to-do lists first. We need to look under the hood. We need to understand the remarkable, ancient, and often overwhelmed operating system that runs our lives, the human nervous system. The gas pedal and the brake, your two-speed nervous system. Think of your nervous system like the control system of a high-performance car. It has two primary competing modes, a gas pedal and a brake. This is a part of your body you don't consciously control, called the autonomic nervous system, and it's in charge of keeping you alive. The gas pedal is your sympathetic nervous system, SNS. Its one and only job is to get you ready for intense action. This is your famous fight or flight response. When your brain perceives a threat, a rustle in the tall grass, the screech of tires, a critical email from your boss, it stomps on the gas. In a split second, your body is flooded with adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart pounds faster to pump blood to your muscles. Your breathing becomes quick and shallow to oxygenate your blood. Your pupils dilate to take in more information. Blood is diverted away from non-essential functions like digestion and immune response because, frankly, you don't need to digest lunch when you're about to become lunch. This system is a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering. It's designed to save your life from immediate physical danger. It's powerful, fast, and incredibly effective.
The brake is your parasympathetic nervous system. This is your rest and digest system. Its job is to calm things down, to repair, and to restore. When the threat is past, the PNS gently applies the brake. It lowers your heart rate and blood pressure. It deepens your breath. It restarts digestion and other long-term maintenance projects. This is the state where you heal, build relationships, feel connected, and experience joy. It's the state of safety and peace. It's the biological home of calm. For most of human history, these two systems worked in a beautiful rhythm. The gas pedal was for emergencies. The brake was for everything else. You'd encounter a threat, slam on the gas, survive the encounter, and then spend a long time with your foot firmly on the brake, recovering. The problem is, our world has changed, but our wiring hasn't. The tiger in your inbox. Here is the single most important thing you need to understand about your modern stress. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between a physical threat and a psychological one. To your amygdala, the brain's fast-acting emotional smoke detector, a looming project deadline feels the same as a looming predator. A passive-aggressive text from a friend triggers the same alarm bells as a sign of social rejection from your tribe, which once meant certain death. The constant barrage of negative news alerts creates the same feeling of imminent danger as hearing a warning cry from a lookout. The tiger is no longer a rare, life-threatening encounter in the wild. The tiger is now in your pocket. It's in your inbox, it's on your television, it's in your social media feed, showing you all the ways you're supposedly not measuring up. The problem isn't just one tiger. It's 1,000 paper tigers a day. And unlike the real tiger that you could, hopefully, escape, these modern threats are persistent and unescapable. The gas pedal is being pushed not just in short, hard bursts, but constantly, all day long. We live with our foot hovering over the accelerator and often pressed halfway to the floor. This is what neuroscientists sometimes call an amygdala hijack. The amygdala is designed to be a hypersensitive alarm. It reacts first and asks questions later. When it senses a threat, real or perceived, it floods your system with stress hormones before your slower, more logical thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, has a chance to weigh in and say, "Hey, it's just an email."
We're not actually going to die. In that moment of hijack, your emotional, survival-oriented brain is in the driver's seat. This is why you might snap at your partner over something trivial when you're stressed, or feel a surge of panic when your boss says, "Can we talk for a minute?" Your body is already preparing for a fight for its life. The high cost of being on high alert. Living in this state of chronic, low-grade fight or flight is exhausting. The brake,
your calming parasympathetic system never gets a chance to fully engage. Your body is perpetually primed for a crisis that never comes, and it pays a heavy price. Think about it. If you drove your car with the gas pedal slightly pushed down all the time, what would happen? You'd burn through fuel, wear out the engine, and strain every part of the machinery. That's exactly what's happening to your body and mind. The consequences of this constant activation are the very things you're likely struggling with. Physical exhaustion. You're wired and tired because your body is burning through its energy reserves just to maintain this state of high alert. Brain fog. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, can impair the function of your prefrontal cortex. It's hard to think clearly, focus, or make good decisions when your brain thinks it's in mortal danger. Emotional volatility. When you're constantly on edge, your window of tolerance shrinks. Small annoyances become major sources of irritation or anxiety. Poor sleep. A stressed system has trouble powering down. You might struggle to fall asleep because your mind is racing, or wake up in the middle of the night feeling a jolt of anxiety. Weakened health. When your body is prioritizing short-term survival, it puts long-term projects like immune response on the back burner, making you more susceptible to getting sick. Your feeling of being overwhelmed isn't a sign of weakness or a personal failure. It's the predictable biological result of a mismatch between your ancient wiring and your modern world. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It just wasn't designed to do it all day, every day. But here's the good news. You are not powerless. You don't have to get rid of your nervous system's gas pedal. You need it. But you can become an expert at using the brake. You can learn to intentionally and skillfully activate your parasympathetic nervous system, even in the middle of a chaotic day. You can learn to send your body the one signal it's desperately waiting to receive, the signal of safety. Understanding the why is the first step. You now know that the breathless, frantic feeling you have is a real physiological response. In the next chapter, we'll move from the problem to the solution. We will introduce a simple, powerful tool that allows you to consciously apply the brake, reclaim your calm, and take back control of your own nervous system. We will learn the A.R.T of calm. Your daily exhale. Chapter 1 in brief. Your body has a two-part nervous system, the sympathetic, the gas pedal for fight or flight, and the parasympathetic, the brake for rest and digest. Modern life, with its constant pings, pressures, and bad news, keeps our gas pedal chronically activated. Your brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, can't distinguish between a physical danger, a tiger, and a psychological one, a stressful email. An amygdala hijack is when your emotional survival brain takes over before your rational brain can assess the situation. Living in this constant state of high alert leads to burnout, anxiety, brain fog, and poor health. It's not a personal failing, it's a biological response to an overwhelming environment. Your first dose of calm, the 10-second tension check. This isn't about fixing anything yet, it's just about noticing. A few times today, try this simple practice. Pause whatever you are doing, close your eyes if you can. Scan your body from head to toe for just 10 seconds. Simply notice, without judgment, where are you holding tension? Is it in your jaw, your shoulders, your forehead, your stomach? Don't try to release it. Just say to yourself, there it is, tension in my neck. This simple act of noticing is the first step toward consciously shifting your state. You can't change what you're not aware of. Chapter 2. The core principle, introducing the art of calm. In the last chapter, we established a critical truth. You feel overwhelmed because your body's alarm system is stuck in the on position. The constant stream of paper tigers, the deadlines, the notifications, the social pressures is keeping your foot pressed on the gas pedal. Your sympathetic nervous system is running the show, and your calming parasympathetic system barely gets a word in. You've become a thermometer, simply reflecting the chaotic temperature of the world around you. This is a powerless position to be in. But what if you could become the thermostat? A thermostat doesn't just measure the temperature in a room, it actively regulates it. When it gets too hot, the air conditioning kicks on. When it gets too cold, the heat turns on. A thermostat creates the climate it wants. This is the power you are about to reclaim. You can learn to be the thermostat for your own inner world. You can learn to notice when your internal temperature is rising and consciously switch on the cooling system. The tool that allows you to do this is what I call the art of calm. The art of calm is not a philosophy you have to ponder or a lifestyle you have to adopt. It is a skill you can practice. It is a simple 3-step mental maneuver you can execute in under a minute, right in the heat of a stressful moment. It acts as a circuit breaker, interrupting the knee-jerk reaction between a trigger and your usual stressed-out response. It creates a sliver of space, and in that space, you find your power. Let's break down the framework. A.R.T. stands for Acknowledge, Reframe, Transition. Think of it as a sturdy 3-legged stool. If you try to balance on just one or two of the legs, you'll be wobbly. But when you use all 3 together, you create a stable platform from which you can navigate anything. Let's look at each leg of the stool. A equals acknowledge, the power of the pause. The first step, acknowledge, is the radical act of pausing and simply noticing what is happening inside you. It's a moment of pure, non-judgmental awareness. When a stressful event happens, your child spills milk all over the floor, your boss questions your work on a conference call, your immediate unconscious reaction is to resist the feeling. You tense up, you get angry, you feel a flush of shame. You either fight the feeling, I'm not stressed, flee from it by grabbing your phone to scroll, or freeze. Acknowledging is the opposite. It's turning toward the feeling with gentle curiosity. It's taking a single breath and doing a quick internal check-in. My jaw is clenched. I feel a hot surge of anger in my chest. My thoughts are racing about everything I need to do. This is the feeling of being overwhelmed. That's it. You're not trying to fix it or change it. You're not judging yourself for feeling it. You are simply naming your experience. As neuroscientists like Dr. Dan Siegel have shown, this simple act of name it to tame it can have a profound effect. When you label an intense emotion, you engage your thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, which helps to put the brakes on your reactive emotional brain, the amygdala. Acknowledging creates a tiny gap between the stimulus and your response. It's like hitting the pause button on your automatic stress reaction. R equals reframe, rewriting your inner narrative. Once you've hit pause, you have the opportunity to take the second step, reframe. This is the cognitive part of the practice, where you consciously choose the story you tell yourself about the situation. Our feelings are rarely caused by events themselves, but by our interpretation of those events. The spilled milk isn't just spilled milk. Your brain instantly labels it as another mess I have to clean up, or proof that my morning is ruined, or why can't things ever just be easy? These interpretations are what generate the suffering. Reframing is not about lying to yourself or engaging in toxic positivity. I love that there's milk all over my floor. It is about finding a more empowering, less threatening, and more accurate story. It's about asking a better question. A reframe can shift your perspective from threat to challenge, from this is a disaster to this is a problem I can handle, judgment to curiosity, from why is my boss attacking me to I wonder what's driving my boss's concern, what information do they need, rigidity to flexibility, from this has to go perfectly to I will do my best and I can adapt if things go wrong. Self-criticism to self-compassion, from I'm so stupid for making that mistake to
Mistakes are human. This is a chance to learn. This subtle shift in your internal narrative changes your entire emotional reality. By choosing a better story, you rob the paper tiger of its power. You take back the pen and become the author of your own experience. T equals transition, your menu of micro resets.
The first two steps happen in your mind. The third step, transition, brings the change into your body. This is where you take a small, deliberate action to physically downregulate your nervous system and complete the shift from stress to calm. This is your dose of calm. It's a physical signal to your body that the threat has passed and it's safe to stand down. A transition is not a big, time-consuming action. It's a micro reset that takes anywhere from 5 to 90 seconds. In a later chapter, we will build a whole menu of these, but for now, think of actions like a physiological sigh, a specific breathing pattern, 2 sharp inhales through the nose, 1 long exhale through the mouth, that is scientifically proven to be the fastest way to calm your autonomic nervous system. A sensory anchor, briefly focusing on one of your 5 senses, feeling the texture of your jeans, looking at a green plant on your desk, smelling a cup of tea, a gentle stretch, rolling your neck, shrugging your shoulders up to your ears, and letting them drop. This physical act is crucial. It completes the circuit. It tells your body the emergency is over. Apply the brake. Acknowledging and reframing calm the mind. Transitioning calms the body. Together, they bring your whole system back into balance. The A.R.T of calm in action. Let's see how this works in a real-life moment. Meet David, a consultant who is about to give a major client presentation over Zoom. He's already feeling nervous. As he reaches for his water glass, he knocks over his entire mug of coffee, splashing it across his notes and desk just 2 minutes before the meeting starts. Old reaction, the thermometer. David's amygdala hijacks him. Instant panic. Oh, no, 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 this is a catastrophe. Physical stress. His heart pounds. He breaks into a sweat. Internal narrative. I'm such an idiot. Now I'm going to be flustered and blow the entire presentation. Everything is ruined. He frantically cleans up, logs onto the call flustered and shaky, and his negative self-fulfilling prophecy comes true. He stumbles through the presentation, his confidence shattered. New response, the thermostat using A.R.T. David feels the same initial surge of panic, but he has practiced this new skill. Acknowledge, he takes 1 deep breath, he pauses for just 3 seconds. He thinks, okay, adrenaline, heart is racing, big feeling of panic in my chest. He doesn't fight it, he just names it. The panic immediately feels a tiny bit less overwhelming. Reframe. His first thought is, this is a disaster, but he consciously challenges it. Is it a disaster or is it an inconvenience? My notes are messy, but the presentation is on the screen. This is annoying, not fatal. I can handle this. He shifts the story from I'm an idiot to accidents happen. Transition. As he grabs a towel with one hand, he performs a quick physiological sigh. 2 sharp inhales, 1 long exhale. The sigh discharges the nervous energy. It's a physical signal to his body that he is safe and in control. He logs on to the Zoom call. He's still a little annoyed about the coffee, but he's not panicked or defeated. He is centered. He feels the ground beneath his feet. He smiles, greets the client, and begins. The entire A.R.T process took him less than 30 seconds. It didn't magically clean up the coffee, but it completely changed his inner state, allowing him to navigate the situation with grace and confidence. This is the A.R.T of calm. It's a practice, a skill, and your key to becoming the thermostat of your life. In the chapters that follow, we will dive deep into each of these 3 steps, giving you a rich toolkit to master them. Your daily exhale, Chapter 2 in brief. Instead of being a thermometer, just reacting to stress, you can learn to be a thermostat, actively regulating your inner state. The A.R.T of calm is a 3-step tool to do this. Acknowledge, reframe, transition. Acknowledge. Pause and notice your internal feelings and physical sensations without judgment. This creates space and calms your emotional brain. Reframe.
Consciously choose a more helpful and less threatening story about the stressful event. This changes your emotional response. Transition. Use a small, quick physical action, like a specific sigh or a stretch, to send a signal of safety to your body and complete the calming process. This entire process can be done in under a minute, interrupting your automatic stress cycle and giving you back your power. Your first dose of calm, the first A.R.T. practice. You don't need a big crisis to practice this. In fact, it's best to start small. The next time you feel a minor wave of frustration, annoyance, or worry, maybe you hit a red light when you're in a hurry or can't find your keys. Try this. Acknowledge. Silently say to yourself, "This is annoyance. I feel it as tension in my shoulders." Reframe. Shift from, "This is so typical. Why does this always happen to me?" to something gentler, like, "This is a moment of delay. It's okay. I have a minute to just breathe." Transition. Take one slow, deliberate breath, making your exhale longer than your inhale. Notice how your shoulders drop just a little. That's it. You've just completed your first rep. You're on your way to becoming the thermostat.
Chapter 3. The A in A.R.T. Acknowledge the power of the pause. Imagine you're driving down the highway and a warning light flicks on in your car's dashboard. It's the check engine light. What do? If you're like most responsible car owners, you might feel a flicker of annoyance, but you pay attention. You think, okay, something needs my attention. I should probably get this checked out soon. The light is not the problem. It's a signal about a problem. Ignoring it would be foolish. Covering it with a piece of black tape doesn't fix the engine. It just makes you blind to a growing issue that will likely become much worse. Now think about how you treat the warning lights on your own internal dashboard. A knot of anxiety in your stomach before a meeting. A flash of anger when a driver cuts you off. A wave of exhaustion that hits you at 3 p.m. These are your body's check engine lights. They are vital signals, providing you with real-time data about your inner state. And what do most of us do? We put black tape over them. We tell ourselves, "I don't have time for this." We chug another coffee to push through the fatigue. We scroll through our phones to distract ourselves from the anxiety. We turn up the radio to drown out the anger. We have become experts at ignoring our own signals. The first and most foundational step in the A.R.T. of calm is to gently peel back that tape. It's the simple, revolutionary act of acknowledgement. The white bear in the room. Why ignoring your feelings backfires. For decades, we've been taught a logic of emotional toughness that equates to emotional suppression. Power through. Don't let them see you sweat. Good vibes only. The problem is, your brain doesn't work that way. There's a classic psychology experiment first conducted by social psychologist Dr. Daniel Wegner that perfectly illustrates this. He gave participants a simple instruction. For the next 5 minutes, try not to think about a white bear. You can try it yourself right now. For the next 30 seconds, whatever you do not think of a big white polar bear. What happened? You almost certainly thought of a white bear. Wegner called this the ironic process theory. The very act of trying to suppress a thought makes it more likely to surface. When you tell yourself, "Don't feel anxious," your brain has to keep checking in to see if you're feeling anxious, which, of course, just brings more attention to the anxiety. Fighting your feelings is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes a tremendous amount of energy, and the moment you lose focus, the ball rockets to the surface with even more force. Acknowledgement is simply letting the beach ball float. You see it, you notice it's there, but you're not locked in a draining struggle with it. This practice of turning your attention inward has a name: interoception. It's your ability to sense the internal condition of your body, your heartbeat, your breathing, your hunger, and yes, the physical sensations tied to your emotions. Modern life, with its constant external distractions, has dulled this crucial sense for many of us. Practicing acknowledgement is like going to the gym for your interoception. You are strengthening the connection between your mind and body, relearning the language of your own nervous system. How to acknowledge, your toolkit for mindful noticing.
Acknowledgement is a skill, and like any skill, it gets easier with practice. It's not complex. It's about being a compassionate, curious scientist of your own experience. Here are 2 simple, powerful techniques to get you started. Technique 1, the body scan in 30 seconds. Your emotions don't just live in your head, they live in your body. Anxiety might be a tightness in your chest. Anger might be heat in your face. Stress might be a clenched jaw. The 30-second body scan is a quick way to check in with your physical warning lights. Pause and plant. Stop what you're doing. If you're sitting, feel your feet flat on the floor. If you're standing, feel the solid ground beneath you. Scan up. Bring your attention to the tips of your toes. In a slow, steady sweep over 15 seconds, move your attention up through your body, your feet, your legs, your stomach, your chest, your arms, your shoulders, your neck, your jaw, your forehead. Just notice. You are not trying to fix or relax anything. You are simply gathering data. Like a scientist with a clipboard, you are just making observations like, tension in the shoulders, stomach feels tight, forehead is furrowed. Breathe, and with a single conscious breath. This entire process can be done at your desk, in a bathroom stall, or while waiting in line. It's a silent internal check-in that instantly grounds you in the present moment. Technique 2, name it to tame it. As we touched on before, the work of Dr. Dan Siegel shows that the simple act of labeling an emotion can deactivate the brain's alarm center. Putting language to a feeling moves the activity from the reactive emotional amygdala to the thoughtful, rational prefrontal cortex. It's as simple as it sounds. When a strong feeling arises, you pause and mentally whisper the name of the emotion to yourself. This is anxiety. This is frustration. I'm feeling overwhelmed. This is disappointment. Notice the phrasing. You are not saying, I am anxious, which can feel like a permanent identity. You are saying, this is the feeling of anxiety, which frames it as a temporary state passing through you. You are the sky, not the weather. Let's see how this works in a real-life scenario. Consider Brian, a dedicated high school history teacher. He loves his job, but his 5th period class is notoriously difficult. Every day before that class, he feels a familiar knot of dread in his stomach. For years, his strategy was to ignore it, grab another coffee, and just power through. As a result, he'd often enter the classroom already on edge, becoming easily irritated by the students and ending the day feeling completely drained. Then, Brian learned the acknowledge step. The next day, standing outside his classroom door before 5th period, he felt the familiar knot tighten. But this time he didn't fight it. He paused. He put his hand on his stomach and took one breath. He thought to himself, okay, there's that knot. This is the feeling of dread. He did a quick body scan and noticed his shoulders were hiked up to his ears. And tension in my shoulders. He didn't try to make the knot disappear. He simply acknowledged its presence, like noticing an old acquaintance across the room. The result was remarkable. The knot didn't vanish, but its power over him diminished. He wasn't wasting energy fighting himself anymore. He walked into the classroom feeling the knot, but not being the knot. He was centered, more present, and better able to handle the students with patience. He had peeled the black tape off the warning light. The crucial difference between acknowledgement and rumination. This is the most common pitfall people encounter when they start this practice. They worry, if I pay attention to my negative feelings, won't that just make them bigger? Won't I get stuck in them? This is a valid concern, and it highlights the vital difference between acknowledgement and rumination. Acknowledgement is noticing. It's a clean, objective observation. It's like seeing a dark cloud on the horizon and saying, a storm cloud is forming. Rumination is wallowing. It's getting caught in a circular, judgmental story about the feeling. It's flying a plane into the storm cloud and circling endlessly, yelling, I can't believe this storm is here. It's going to ruin everything. Why does it always rain on me? Acknowledgement says, I feel a surge of anxiety. Rumination says, why am I so anxious all the time? I shouldn't feel this way. There must be something wrong with me. This is never going to get better. Acknowledgement is an act of mindfulness. Rumination is an act of self-judgment. The first creates space and calm. The second creates a vortex of stress. The key is to approach your feelings with the detached curiosity of a scientist, not the harsh criticism of a judge. You are just here to observe and label the data, that's all. The power of this step cannot be overstated. By simply pausing to acknowledge what is true for you in this moment, you stop the runaway train of reactivity. You interrupt the unconscious pattern. You create the sacred space where the other two steps of our practice, reframe and transition, can take root. You are taking your first crucial step to becoming the thermostat. Your Daily Exhale, Chapter 3 in brief. Ignoring your emotional and physical signals, your internal check engine lights, doesn't make them go away, it makes them worse. Trying to suppress a feeling often makes it stronger, a phenomenon known as the ironic process, the white bear problem. Acknowledgement is the skill of mindfully noticing your inner state without judging it. It strengthens your interoception, your mind-body connection. Use two key techniques, the body scan in 30 seconds to notice physical sensations and name it to tame it to label emotions, which calms your brain's alarm system. Acknowledgement is different from rumination. Acknowledgement is clean noticing, this is anxiety, while rumination is judgmental wallowing, why am I so anxious? Your first dose of calm, the 3-breath check-in. Let's make this incredibly simple and build the habit. Today, link this tiny practice to an activity you already do several times a day, like sitting down at your desk, waiting for a web page to load, or before you take a sip of coffee. Breath 1, body. As you inhale, ask, what am I feeling in my body? As you exhale, just notice it, e.g., tension in my neck. Breath 2, mind. As you inhale, ask, what's going on in my mind? As you exhale, just notice the quality of your thoughts, e.g., racing thoughts or distracted. Breath 3, emotion. As you inhale, ask, what emotion is present? As you exhale, silently name it, e.g., frustration. This 10-second practice is a powerful way to integrate acknowledgement into the rhythm of your day, one gentle breath at a time.
Chapter 4. The R in A.R.T. Reframe, rewriting your inner narrative. You've done the first, hardest part. You've paused. You've peeled the tape off the dashboard light and acknowledged the feeling bubbling up inside you. This is anxiety. This is anger. This is overwhelm. You've created a precious pocket of space. Now, what do you do with that space? This is where you discover your superpower, because in that gap between feeling a feeling and acting on it, you have a choice. You have the choice to examine the story that's causing the feeling, and if that story isn't serving you, you have the power to change it. This is the second step in our practice, reframe. Think of your interpretation of an event like a pair of sunglasses. If you're wearing dark, stormy gray lenses, the whole world looks bleak and threatening. If you're wearing bright, rose-colored lenses, everything might look naively optimistic. Reframing isn't about forcing yourself to wear rose-colored glasses. It's the conscious act of taking them off, examining the lenses, and choosing a pair that shows you the world more clearly and empowers you to navigate it more effectively. As the ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. It's not the traffic jam that creates rage. It's the story. This is going to make me late and my boss will think I'm unreliable. It's not the critical comment from your partner that causes deep hurt. It's the story. They don't appreciate me. Nothing I do is ever good enough. The event is the spark. The story is the fuel. Reframing is learning to stop pouring fuel on the fire. The architecture of your stories, explanatory styles. This idea is at the heart of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, one of the most well-researched and effective forms of psychotherapy. The core premise is that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all interconnected. By changing a negative thought pattern, we can change how we feel and act. The psychologist Martin Seligman, a pioneer in the field of positive psychology, took this a step further. Through his research, he found that people tend to have a default way of explaining bad events to themselves. He called this their explanatory style. He discovered that these styles tend to fall on a spectrum from pessimistic to optimistic, and they have a profound impact on our resilience and well-being. A pessimistic explanatory style interprets bad events as personal. It's my fault, e.g., we lost the client because I'm bad at my job. Pervasive. It's going to ruin everything, e.g., this failure at work means my whole career is a mess. Permanent. It's always going to be this way, e.g., I'll never be good at client relations. An optimistic explanatory style, on the other hand, sees bad events as impersonal or external. It was due to circumstances, e.g., the client had budget cuts that were out of my control. Specific. It only affects this one area, e.g., this one project didn't work out, but I'm doing well on my other accounts. Temporary. This is a passing setback, e.g., this was a tough loss, but I will learn from it and do better next time. Reframing is the active process of challenging a pessimistic story and consciously shifting it toward a more optimistic and often more realistic one. It's a trainable skill for building resilience. Your Reframe Toolkit, 3 ways to change the lens. Reframing isn't a vague concept. It's a practical technique. Here are 3 powerful questions you can use to challenge a negative narrative in the moment. Technique 1. Question the story, the detective. Your first automatic negative thought is often a cognitive distortion, an exaggerated, irrational belief. Your job is to become a gentle but firm detective and cross-examine that thought. Ask it a few simple questions. Is this thought 100% true? Is it really true that your boss hates your report, or is it more true that they requested a few revisions? What's a more compassionate or generous way to see this? Would you say this to a friend in the same situation? If not, why are you saying it to yourself? What is another possible explanation? Maybe your friend hasn't texted back not because they're mad at you, but because they're simply busy or overwhelmed themselves. Technique 2. Shift from threat to challenge or opportunity. The alchemist. Our brains are wired to see threats everywhere. An alchemist in legend could turn lead into gold. You can learn to turn a perceived threat into a challenge to be met or an opportunity for growth. This is the essence of a growth mindset, as described by psychologist Carol Dweck. Ask, what can I learn from this?
Instead of seeing a mistake as a failure, see it as data. It's valuable information on how to do better next time. Ask, how can this make me stronger? Navigating a difficult conversation isn't just a threat, it's an opportunity to practice your communication skills. Ask, what is within my control here? This question shifts you from a place of victimhood to a place of agency. You can't control the traffic, but you can control your breathing or the podcast you listen to. Technique 3. Find the need, the diplomat. This reframe is especially powerful in interpersonal conflicts. When someone says or does something that triggers you, our default story is often one of personal attack. The diplomat reframe seeks to understand the unmet need behind the other person's words or actions. Instead of, my partner is nagging me about the dishes again, try, my partner has a need for order and a shared sense of responsibility. How can we meet that need together? Instead of, my boss is micromanaging me, try, my boss has a need for reassurance that the project is on track. What can I do to provide that reassurance? This shift doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it depersonalizes it. It moves the conflict from me versus you to us versus the problem, which is a far more productive and less stressful place to be. Let's watch this in action. Maria is a talented graphic designer who just received an email from her art director with a lot of critical feedback on a logo she spent a week creating. Old story. Pessimistic explanatory style. Acknowledge, a hot flush of shame, a pit in her stomach. Automatic narrative. He thinks it's terrible. I'm a fraud. Personal. Now the whole project is ruined. Pervasive. I'm never going to get this right. Permanent. This story sends her into a spiral of anxiety and kills her creative motivation for the rest of the day. New response, the art of calm. Acknowledge. She feels the same hot flush and the pit in her stomach. She pauses. This is shame and fear. Reframe. She grabs her toolkit. She plays the detective. Is it 100% true that he thinks it's terrible? Let me reread the email. He actually said he loved the overall direction, but had concerns about the font's readability. The story that I'm a fraud isn't true. She becomes the alchemist. Okay, this isn't a threat, it's a challenge. The feedback is specific. This is an opportunity to make the logo even better and show that I can incorporate feedback professionally.
She puts on the diplomat lens. My art director has a need for the client to be thrilled with this. He's not attacking me, he is trying to protect the project. His feedback is designed to help. Transition. We'll get to this in the next chapter, but she might take a deep breath and stretch her neck. The event is identical. The feedback hasn't changed, but Maria's entire inner world has been transformed. She's moved from a place of panicked defense to a place of empowered, creative problem solving. That is the magic of the reframe. You don't change the world, you change the lens through which you see it, and in doing so, you change your experience of the world. Your daily exhale. Chapter 4 in brief. Your feelings are not caused by events, but by the stories or interpretations you tell yourself about them. Reframing is the conscious act of challenging a negative, disempowering story and choosing a more accurate and helpful one. Our default stories are often pessimistic, seeing bad events as personal, pervasive, and permanent. The goal is to shift them to be seen as impersonal, specific, and temporary. Use the Reframe toolkit. Question the story like a detective. Shift from threat to challenge or opportunity like an alchemist. Find the unmet need in others like a diplomat. Reframing isn't about ignoring reality. It's about finding the most resilient and empowered perspective within that reality. Your first dose of calm, the one-thought reframe. Your goal today is not to overhaul your entire belief system. It's just to catch and reframe one thought. Catch it. At some point today, notice yourself having a frustrating, negative thought. Maybe it's about traffic, a coworker, or yourself. Acknowledge it. Pause. There's a pessimistic story. Challenge and reframe it. Pick one of the tools from the toolkit. Ask, what's another way to see this? Or what can I learn from this? Original thought? I can't believe I forgot to send that email. I'm so disorganized. Reframe. I'm juggling a lot right now, and humans forget things. I'll set a reminder to do it first thing in the morning. This is a chance to improve my system. Just one. By proving to yourself that you can consciously change a single thought, you begin to unlock the profound power of rewriting your inner narrative. Chapter 5. The T in A.R.T. Transition. Your menu of micro resets. You've acknowledged the knot in your stomach. You've reframed the catastrophic story your mind was telling you. This is a huge victory. You've stopped the runaway mental train. But you might notice something still feels off. Your mind might be calmer, but your shoulders are still up by your ears. Your jaw is still tight. Your heart is still beating a little too fast. Why? Because your body is still marinating in the stress hormones that were released during that initial alarm. You've taken your foot off the gas pedal, but the engine is still revving high. Your mind may have heard the new, calmer story, but your body needs to get the memo. This final, crucial step, transition, is how you deliver that memo. It's the physical act that completes the circuit. It's a deliberate, physical action that speaks directly to your nervous system in the language it understands best.
the language of breath, sensation, and movement. It is the signal of safety your body has been waiting for. This is how you consciously and intentionally apply the brake. The science behind this is fascinating and centers on a key player in your nervous system, the vagus nerve. Think of the vagus nerve as the superhighway of your parasympathetic, or rest and digest system. It wanders from your brainstem down through your neck, chest, and abdomen, connecting with your heart, lungs, and digestive tract. When you stimulate this nerve, you are sending a direct message to your body's command center to slow down, stand down, and calm down. The beautiful thing is that you don't need a fancy machine to do this. The transition tools in this chapter are all simple, evidence-based ways to activate your vagus nerve and bring your body back into a state of balance. This is not another long to-do list. This is your personal menu of micro resets. These are not hour-long meditations. They are 5 to 90-second doses of calm you can use anytime, anywhere. Your job is to read the menu, try a few things, and discover your personal favorites, the go-to resets that work best for you. Your menu of micro resets. Category 1, breath-based resets. Your breath is the most powerful tool you have for changing your physiological state because it's one of the only parts of the autonomic nervous system you can consciously control. 1. The physiological sigh. Why it works? Researched extensively by Stanford neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman, this is arguably the fastest way to voluntarily calm your nervous system. When you're stressed, tiny sacs in your lungs, alveoli, can collapse. The double inhale pops them back open, allowing for a more efficient offload of carbon dioxide on the long exhale, which rapidly slows the heart rate. How to do it? Take a deep inhale through your nose. When you feel you can't inhale anymore, sneak in a second, sharper inhale through your nose to fully inflate your lungs. Exhale slowly and fully through your mouth, making the exhale longer than the 2 inhales combined. Repeat 1 to 3 times. 2. Box breathing. Why it works? Popularized by Navy SEALs for its use in high-stress situations, box breathing imposes a steady, predictable rhythm on your breath, which is deeply calming to a chaotic system. The 4-second counts are long enough to slow things down, but short enough to be manageable even when you're anxious. How to do it? Gently exhale all the air from your lungs, inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, exhale through your mouth for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4. Repeat the cycle for 4 to 5 rounds. Category 2, sensory-based resets. Stress and anxiety often trap us in our heads, ruminating about the past or worrying about the future. Sensory resets yank your attention out of your head and into the physical reality of the present moment. 1. The 5-4-3-2-1 grounding method. Why it works? This technique forces your brain to stop its frantic storytelling and focus on the neutral sensory input of your immediate environment. It's impossible to worry about a future event when you're actively trying to find something blue to look at. How to do it? Pause and look around you. Name 5 things you can see: your computer, a pen, a crack in the wall. Name 4 things you can feel: the texture of your shirt, the cool surface of the desk, your feet in your shoes. Name 3 things you can hear: the hum of the air conditioner, a distant siren, your own breathing. Name 2 things you can smell: your coffee, hand sanitizer. Name 1 thing you can taste: the lingering taste of mint from your toothpaste. 2. A sensory anchor. Why it works? This involves having a pre-chosen object or scent to focus on. It creates a quick, positive association with calm. How to do it? Touch. Keep a smooth worry stone, a small piece of soft fabric, or a textured object in your pocket or desk. Chapter 5. The T in A.R.T. Transition. Your menu of micro resets. You've acknowledged the knot in your stomach. You've reframed the catastrophic story your mind was telling you. This is a huge victory. You've stopped the runaway mental train. But you might notice something still feels off. Your mind might be calmer, but your shoulders are still up by your ears. Your jaw is still tight. Your heart is still beating a little too fast. Why? Because your body is still marinating in the stress hormones that were released during that initial alarm. You've taken your foot off the gas pedal, but the engine is still revving high. Your mind may have heard the new, calmer story, but your body needs to get the memo. This final, crucial step, transition, is how you deliver that memo. It's the physical act that completes the circuit. It's a deliberate, physical action that speaks directly to your nervous system in the language it understands best, the language of breath, sensation, and movement. It is the signal of safety your body has been waiting for. This is how you consciously and intentionally apply the brake. The science behind this is fascinating and centers on a key player in your nervous system, the vagus nerve. Think of the vagus nerve as the superhighway of your parasympathetic, or rest and digest, system. It wanders from your brainstem down through your neck, chest, and abdomen, connecting with your heart, lungs, and digestive tract. When you stimulate this nerve, you are sending a direct message to your body's command center to slow down, stand down, and calm down. The beautiful thing is that you don't need a fancy machine to do this. The transition tools in this chapter are all simple, evidence-based ways to activate your vagus nerve and bring your body back into a state of balance. This is not another long to-do list. This is your personal menu of micro resets. These are not hour-long meditations. They are 5 to 90-second doses of calm you can use anytime, anywhere. Your job is to read the menu, try a few things, and discover your personal favorites, the go-to resets that work best for you. Your menu of micro resets. Category 1. Breath-based resets. Your breath is the most powerful tool you have for changing your physiological state because it's one of the only parts of the autonomic nervous system you can consciously control. 1. The physiological sigh. Why it works? Researched extensively by Stanford neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman, this is arguably the fastest way to voluntarily calm your nervous system. When you're stressed, tiny sacs in your lungs, alveoli, can collapse. The double inhale pops them back open, allowing for a more efficient offload of carbon dioxide on the long exhale, which rapidly slows the heart rate. How to do it? Take a deep inhale through your nose. When you feel you can't inhale anymore, sneak in a second, sharper inhale through your nose to fully inflate your lungs. Exhale slowly and fully through your mouth, making the exhale longer than the 2 inhales combined. Repeat 1 to 3 times. 2. Box breathing. Why it works. Popularized by Navy SEALs for its use in high-stress situations, box breathing imposes a steady, predictable rhythm on your breath, which is deeply calming to a chaotic system. The 4-second counts are long enough to slow things down, but short enough to be manageable even when you're anxious. How to do it? Gently exhale all the air from your lungs, inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, exhale through your mouth for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4. Repeat the cycle for 4 to 5 rounds. Category 2. Sensory-based resets. Stress and anxiety often trap us in our heads, ruminating about the past or worrying about the future. Sensory resets yank your attention out of your head and into the physical reality of the present moment. 1. The 5-4-3-2-1 grounding method. Why it works? This technique forces your brain to stop its frantic storytelling and focus on the neutral sensory input of your immediate environment. It's impossible to worry about a future event when you're actively trying to find something blue to look at. How to do it? Pause and look around you. Name 5 things you can see: your computer, a pen, a crack in the wall. Name 4 things you can feel: the texture of your shirt, the cool surface of the desk, your feet in your shoes. Name 3 things you can hear: the hum of the air conditioner, a distant siren, your own breathing. Name 2 things you can smell: your coffee, hand sanitizer. Name 1 thing you can taste: the lingering taste of mint from your toothpaste. 2. A sensory anchor. Why it works? This involves having a pre-chosen object or scent to focus on. It creates a quick, positive association with calm. How to do it? Touch. Keep a smooth worry stone, a small piece of soft fabric, or a textured object in your pocket or desk.
When stressed, simply hold it and focus all your attention on its physical properties for 30 seconds. Scent. Carry a small vial of a calming essential oil, like lavender or bergamot. Uncap it and take a gentle sniff. Scent has a direct pathway to the brain's limbic system, which governs emotion and memory. Sight. Have a small photo on your desk or on your phone of a calming place, a beach, a forest, a mountain vista. Look at it for 20 seconds and imagine being there. Category 3. Movement-based resets. Stress prepares your body to move, fight, or flee. When you just sit with that energy, it gets stuck. Deliberate, gentle movement helps to release it. 1. The shoulder shrug and drop. Why it works? We unconsciously hold immense tension in our neck and shoulders. This exaggerates the tension and then releases it, which helps the muscles to let go. How to do it? On an inhale, shrug your shoulders up as high as you can, trying to touch your ears. Squeeze them tight. Hold for a count of 3. On a sharp exhale through your mouth, let your shoulders drop completely. Feel the wave of release. Repeat 2 to 3 times. 2. Hand and wrist shakeout. Why it works? It releases pent-up energy and tension in your extremities, sending a signal to your body to loosen up. How to do it? Let your hands hang loosely at your sides or in front of you. For 15 to 30 seconds, simply shake them out vigorously, as if you're trying to flick water off your fingertips. Let your wrists be completely limp. Category 4. Thought-based resets. This is a cognitive transition that solidifies your reframe and brings a sense of comfort. 1. Recall a calm memory. Why it works? Your brain doesn't always distinguish between a real and a vividly imagined experience. Recalling a time you felt safe and calm can trigger a similar neurochemical response in the present. How to do it? Close your eyes for 10 seconds. Bring to mind a specific memory of a time you felt completely at peace. For example, sitting by a lake, hugging a loved one, listening to a favorite song. Try to recall one sensory detail from that memory. The warmth of the sun, the sound of the water, the feeling of safety. 2. Use a soothing mantra. Why it works? A mantra provides a single calming phrase for your mind to focus on, replacing the frantic, anxious thoughts. How to do it? Choose a simple, comforting phrase that resonates with you. Examples: this moment is okay. I am safe. This too shall pass. Breathe in, breathe out. Silently repeat it to yourself 5 times, coordinating it with your breath. Finding your go-tos, the A.R.T in practice. The menu looks long, but you don't need to memorize it. The goal is to experiment and find 2 or 3 go-to resets that feel good and are easy for you to remember. Let's check in with Kevin, an accountant in the throes of a stressful month-end close. He opens an email from a senior manager with the subject line, "Urgent problem with your numbers." Acknowledge. He feels an immediate cold lurch in his stomach. His chest tightens. He pauses. Okay, that's a surge of panic. My body is reacting. Reframe. His first thought is, I messed up. I'm going to get fired. He challenges it. Is that 100% true? The subject line says problem, not your massive failure. Maybe it's just a query. My job is to solve problems, not to be perfect. This is a challenge, not a catastrophe. Transition. The reframe helped his mind, but his heart is still pounding. He needs to calm his body. He performs one physiological sigh. The long exhale feels like it drains the static out of his system. Then he picks up his warm coffee mug and does a sensory anchor. He focuses for 10 seconds on the solid weight of the mug and the warmth seeping into his palms. He opens the email. He is no longer in a state of panic. He is in a state of focused, calm readiness. The entire A.R.T. process took less than 45 seconds and utterly transformed his ability to handle the situation. He discovered the email was about a simple data entry error from another department, a problem he could solve in 5 minutes. Without the A.R.T. practice, that same email might have sent him into an hour-long spiral of anxiety. The transition is your exhale. It's the moment you finally let go, signaling to every cell in your body that the threat has passed, the tiger is gone, and it is safe to come home to yourself. Your daily exhale. Chapter 5 in brief. Transition is the physical step that signals safety to your body after the mental work of acknowledge and reframe. It works by stimulating the vagus nerve, the superhighway of your body's calming rest and digest system. Your menu of micro resets is a toolkit of quick, science-backed actions to calm your nervous system. The menu includes breath-based physiological sigh, sensory-based 5-4-3-2-1 method, movement-based shoulder drop, and thought-based calm memory resets.
The goal is not to master all of them, but to experiment and find 2-3 go-to resets that work best for you. Your first dose of calm. Choose your anchor point. You are more likely to use a tool in a crisis if you've prepared ahead of time. Your task today is simple. Choose your primary sensory anchor. Look around your daily environment. Your desk, your car, your kitchen. Choose one object or sensation you can reliably turn to. Is it the feel of your smooth watch face? The particular scent of your hand lotion? The view of a tree outside your window? The engraved pattern on your favorite pen? Decide now. My anchor point will be the feeling of my wedding ring. The next time you feel a flicker of stress, your first transition move is already decided. Just reach for your anchor. You're building the habit before you even need it.
Chapter 6. A.R.T. at Work, From Burnout to Boundaries. The modern workplace is a perfect storm for an unregulated nervous system. It's an ecosystem of relentless demands, ambiguous social cues, and constant connectivity. The glow of the screen is the first thing we see in the morning and the last thing we see at night. The endless river of emails, the constant ping of instant messages, the back-to-back video calls, each one is a potential paper tiger, another small stimulus that pokes our fight-or-flight response. Is it any wonder that so many of us feel chronically on edge? We walk around with our shoulders in a permanent state of semi-shrug, our bodies braced for the next urgent request, the next piece of unexpected feedback, the next looming deadline. This isn't just stress, it's a direct path to burnout, a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion that leaves us feeling cynical, detached, and ineffective. The traditional answer to workplace stress has been to work harder, be more organized, or master time management. But these are external strategies for what is, at its core, an internal problem. You can have the most perfectly organized calendar in the world, but it won't stop the surge of panic you feel when your boss schedules an unexpected meeting. This is where the A.R.T. of calm becomes your professional superpower. It's the internal skill that allows you to navigate the external pressures with grace and resilience. It's the tool that helps you move from being a reactive victim of your workday to being the calm, centered author of your professional life. To see how this works, let's follow a day in the life of Jessica, a talented and dedicated project manager at a fast-growing tech company. Jessica is good at her job, but the pressure is taking its toll. She feels perpetually behind. Her mind races at night replaying conversations, and her patience is worn thin. She's a classic case of wired and tired. But recently, she started practicing the A.R.T. of calm. Scenario 1, the ambush email. It's 9:15 a.m. Jessica is focused on her most important task of the day when an email lands in her inbox from a senior executive. The subject line,
checking in on Project Apollo. The body, "Hi Jessica, can you send me a full status update on Project Apollo? Need to understand where we are and why the timeline seems to be slipping. Thanks." Jessica's old reaction? A jolt of pure adrenaline. Her stomach drops.
Her mind floods with defensive thoughts. Slipping? It's not slipping. He doesn't understand the dependencies. Why is he questioning me? He thinks I'm failing. She would fire back a hastily written, slightly defensive email, then spend the next hour stewing in anxiety, her focus completely shattered. Jessica's new A.R.T. response. Acknowledge. She feels the familiar jolt. Instead of reacting, she pauses. She places a hand on her desk and takes one breath. Okay, that's a surge of fear. My chest is tight. This is my "I'm in trouble" feeling. She simply names it. Reframe. She looks at her automatic thought. He thinks I'm failing. She plays the detective. Is that 100% true? Or is it more likely he's preparing for his own meeting and just needs the data? She shifts to the diplomat. He has a need for reassurance and clarity. My job isn't to defend myself, it's to provide that clarity. The story changes from "I'm under attack" to "This is a request for information." Transition. She performs one silent physiological sigh. The double inhale and long exhale discharge the nervous energy. She feels her shoulders drop an inch. Now centered, she writes a calm, professional response. "Thanks for checking in. Happy to provide an update. The timeline is holding to our revised schedule from May 15th, which accounts for the vendor delay. I've attached the latest progress report and can walk you through it this afternoon if that's helpful. The project is in a good place." She handled the situation effectively, built trust, and was back to her focused work in 5 minutes, not 60. Scenario 2. The overwhelming to-do list. Later, Jessica looks at her task list for the week. It's a sprawling, multi-page document of competing priorities. She feels a wave of paralysis wash over her. It all feels urgent and important. Where does she even begin? Old reaction. Overwhelm. She jumped between small, easy tasks to feel a false sense of productivity, avoiding the big, important ones. Or she'd procrastinate by cleaning her inbox, feeling more and more anxious as the day slipped away. New A.R.T. response. Acknowledge. This is the feeling of overwhelm. My brain feels foggy and scattered. Reframe. The old story is, "This is impossible. I'll never get it all done." She reframes it using the alchemist's question, "What is within my control right now?" She changes the narrative from "I have to do everything" to "I only have to do one thing next." What is the single most valuable use of my next 60 minutes? Transition. She does a quick shoulder shrug and drop, inhaling her shoulders up to her ears and exhaling them down with a sigh. It's a physical release of the weight of the to-do list. This micro-reset breaks the paralysis. She identifies the one most critical task, closes all other tabs on her computer, and begins. She has transformed a moment of overwhelming paralysis into a moment of focused action. From burnout to boundaries, the ultimate workplace skill. Perhaps the most powerful application of art at work is in building the courage to set boundaries. A boundary is simply a line you draw that says, this is what I'm okay with, and this is what I'm not. But for many of us, setting a boundary, saying no to a new project, logging off at 5 p.m., pushing back on an unrealistic deadline, is terrifying. It activates our deep-seated fear of disapproval and conflict. You cannot set a healthy boundary when your nervous system is in fight or flight. In that state, your only goal is to appease the threat to make the bad feeling go away. This is why you find yourself saying yes to things you know you don't have time for. You're not making a rational decision. Your amygdala is making an emotional one to seek safety. The art of calm is the internal work that makes the external work of boundary setting possible. It allows you to regulate your nervous system before you respond, so you can make a choice from a place of wisdom, not fear. At 4:45 p.m., Jessica's boss messages her, Hey, can you quickly whip up a slide deck on the Q3 projections? I need it for a breakfast meeting tomorrow. Old reaction. Immediate panic. I can't say no. He'll think I'm not a team player. She'd agree, cancel her evening plans, and work late into the night feeling resentful and exhausted. New A.R.T. response. She sees the message, her heart rate spikes. Acknowledge. There it is. The fear of disappointing someone. My stomach is in knots. Reframe. Old story. A good employee always says yes. New, more accurate story. A good employee is reliable and honest about their capacity. A burned out employee helps no one. My boss has a need for this deck. I have a need for rest and to protect my time. How can we both get what we need? Transition. She puts her feet flat on the floor and does a 30-second 5-4-3-2-1 grounding method, silently naming things she can see and feel in her office.
This brings her out of her head and into the present reality. Calm and centered, she is now able to set a boundary that is both kind and firm. She writes back, "Happy to do that. Given the short notice, I can have a first draft to you by 10 a.m. tomorrow, or I can send you the raw data right now if that's more helpful for your meeting. I'm unfortunately not able to turn around a full deck tonight." She offered a solution, respected her own limits, and treated her boss with professionalism. She taught him how to treat her. This is the ultimate move from burnout to empowerment. It starts not with the word no, but with the internal practice that makes saying no feel safe. Your Daily Exhale, Chapter 6 in brief. The modern workplace is a major source of chronic stress that keeps our nervous system in a low-grade state of fight or flight, leading to burnout. The A.R.T. of calm is a tool to manage your inner state amidst outer pressures, turning you from a reactive employee into a resilient professional. Use A.R.T. for specific triggers. Stressful emails, acknowledge the fear, reframe the intent, request versus attack, transition with the breath reset. Overwhelming to-do lists, acknowledge the paralysis, reframe from everything to the next one thing, transition with a movement reset. A.R.T. is the foundational skill for setting healthy boundaries. By calming your nervous system first, you can say no or negotiate from a place of wisdom, not fear. Your first dose of calm, the pre-meeting reset. Meetings, especially on video, can be major sources of anxiety. Before your next meeting, try this 1-minute A.R.T. ritual. Acknowledge, 20 seconds. Close your eyes. Do a quick body scan. Where are you holding tension? Notice your thoughts. Just observe without judgment. Reframe, 20 seconds. Set an intention. Instead of thinking, "I hope I don't sound stupid," reframe it to, "My intention is to listen carefully and contribute one helpful idea." Shift your goal from performance to participation. Transition, 20 seconds. Perform 2 rounds of box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4. Exhale for 4, hold for 4. You will enter the meeting feeling not anxious, but grounded and present. You are ready.
Chapter 7, A.R.T. in Relationships, Navigating Conflict with Grace. It was never about the dishes, or the uncapped toothpaste, the socks on the floor, or who was 5 minutes late. You know the arguments. They start small, a single spark of annoyance, but then, in a flash, they ignite years of accumulated kindling, old resentments, unspoken expectations, and deep-seated fears. Within moments, a minor disagreement has escalated into a full-blown battle, with both of you retreating to fortified positions armed with hurtful words like "you always" and "you never." Later, after the emotional storm has passed, a quiet regret often sets in. You lie in bed next to your partner, in a tense silence, wondering, "How did we get here? I don't even remember what we were fighting about. That's not what I meant to say." Here is the truth. These escalations are rarely about the topic at hand. They are about triggered nervous systems. In the context of our most important bonds, the stakes are incredibly high. A critical word or a dismissive sigh from a loved one isn't just annoying. It can be perceived by our ancient brain wiring as a primal threat, a threat of withdrawal, rejection, or abandonment. This is the ultimate danger for a social creature hardwired for connection. And so,
The amygdala sounds the alarm. You experience a full-blown amygdala hijack, not because of the socks on the floor, but because of the story your brain instantly tells you. I am not respected. I am not a priority. I am alone in this. Your nervous system floods with cortisol and adrenaline. You are no longer a loving partner in a conversation. You are a cornered animal in a fight for survival. You attack, fight, you shut down and walk away, or you go silent and numb. So, how do we stop the hijack and keep love in the driver's seat? How do we discuss the actual dishes without breaking our connection? The A.R.T. of calm is the circuit breaker. It's the practice that allows you to stay present to yourself so you can stay connected to the person you love even when things get hard. The anatomy of a fight, a tale of two responses. Let's look at a couple, Linda and Tom. They have a good relationship, but like all couples, they have a recurring point of friction. Tom has a habit of leaving his breakfast dishes on the counter before rushing off to work. For Linda, who works from home, it's a constant visual reminder of a shared task left undone. The before A.R.T. scenario. Linda walks into the kitchen and sees the dirty plate, sticky with syrup. It's the third time this week. Her hijack? Her nervous system spikes. The story is, he doesn't respect me or our home. I have to do everything myself. Her reaction? Fight. When Tom gets home, she greets him with, "Seriously, Tom? You left your disgusting plate out again? Do you think I'm your maid?" Tom's hijack? He just walked in from a stressful day. Her sharp tone feels like a full frontal assault. His brain story is, I can never do anything right. She thinks I'm a lazy slob. His reaction? Defensive fight. "Give me a break, Linda. I was late for a huge meeting. It's one plate. Why do you always have to nag me the second I walk in the door?" From there, the argument spirals. It's no longer about the plate. It's about nagging, respect, laziness, and appreciation. Both end the night feeling misunderstood, hurt, and more distant than before. The connection is frayed. Now let's replay that same scene after Tom has been practicing A.R.T. The after A.R.T. scenario. Linda walks into the kitchen and sees the plate. She feels the same initial flash of anger, but she's been practicing too. Acknowledge. She pauses. Okay, there's that hot feeling of anger in my chest, and the story is, he doesn't respect me. Reframe. She challenges the story. Is it true he doesn't respect me, or is it true he gets distracted and rushed in the mornings? The real issue is that the mess makes my workspace feel chaotic and stressful. My need is for a calm environment. Transition. She takes one slow, deep breath, letting the exhale release some of the heat. Because she regulated herself first, her approach when Tom gets home is completely different. She greets him with a hug and waits a few minutes for him to settle in. Then, from a place of calm, she says, "Hey, honey, can we talk for a second about the kitchen in the mornings?" Tom feels her calm tone, but he still feels a small defensive twinge. This is where he gets to practice. Acknowledge. He feels the urge to say, "Oh, here we go," but he catches it. He notices the tension in his gut. Okay, I'm feeling defensive. I'm afraid of being criticized. Reframe. He actively shifts his lens from she's attacking me to she's trying to solve a problem with me. Her need is for a tidy space. My need is to not feel like a failure the second I get home. How can we both win? Transition. He makes a small physical shift. He turns to face her fully, making eye contact. This nonverbal cue signals I'm listening, and it calms his own nervous system. He responds, "Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about this morning. It gets so crazy, and I just run out the door. It's not fair to you." The entire dynamic has changed. The defensiveness is gone. The blame is gone. They are now two people on the same team solving a mutual problem. They might decide that he rinses the plate and puts it in the dishwasher, or that she'll handle it in exchange for him taking on another chore. The specific solution doesn't matter. What matters is that they solved the problem without damaging the connection. In fact, by navigating the conflict with grace, they strengthened it. Beyond your partner, A.R.T. for every relationship. This practice is just as powerful with all of your relationships. With a child's tantrum, your 4-year-old is screaming on the floor of the grocery store because you won't buy the sugary cereal. Acknowledge. Your face is hot with embarrassment. You feel a surge of anger and helplessness. This is frustration. I feel it in my clenched hands. Reframe. Old story. He's manipulating me and being a brat. New, more generous story. His prefrontal cortex is still under construction. He is being overwhelmed by a big feeling he literally cannot manage. My job is not to punish him, but to be the calm anchor in his storm. Transition. You take one deep breath and crouch down to his level, lowering your center of gravity and your voice. This physical act calms you and makes you appear less threatening to him. With a difficult family member, your aunt calls and immediately starts offering unsolicited critical advice about your career. Acknowledge. You feel your stomach clench and your jaw tighten. You want to hang up. This is dread and annoyance. Reframe. Old story. She's trying to control me and thinks I'm a failure. New, more generous story. This is how she shows she cares, even if it's clumsy. Her words are about her own anxieties, not a true reflection of my worth. Transition. You press your feet firmly into the floor, a sensory anchor. This grounding technique helps you stay in your own body and not get swept up in her emotional drama. You can then respond calmly. I really appreciate that you're thinking of me. I've got things handled right now, but it's good to hear from you. How are you doing?
In every relationship, the A.R.T. of calm allows you to stop reacting to the other person's dysregulated state and start responding from your own regulated one. This creates a powerful ripple effect. Neuroscientists call it co-regulation. A calm nervous system can help to calm another nervous system just by its presence. Your calm is not just for you. It is a gift you offer to every person you interact with. It's the space where misunderstanding can become understanding and where conflict can, surprisingly, become a doorway to deeper intimacy. Your Daily Exhale, Chapter 7, in brief. Most relationship conflicts are not about the topic at hand. They are driven by triggered nervous systems reacting to a perceived threat of disconnection. The A.R.T. of calm is a tool to de-escalate conflict by regulating yourself first, shifting the dynamic from me versus you to us versus the problem. Acknowledge your own emotional spike, the anger, the defensiveness, before you speak. Reframe the story from a personal attack to an expression of your partner's or child's unmet need or stress. Transition with a physical act of calm, a deep breath, or a physical pause to ensure you respond from a grounded place. Your regulated nervous system can help calm those around you through co-regulation. Your calm is a gift to your relationships. Your first dose of calm, the silent reframe. You don't have to wait for a big fight to practice this. The best training ground is in small moments of everyday friction. The next time your partner, child, or roommate does something that causes a tiny flicker of annoyance in you, do nothing. Don't speak. Acknowledge the flicker of feeling internally. That's annoyance. Practice a silent reframe. Ask yourself, what is a more generous interpretation of their action? Instead of, he left his shoes in the middle of the hall to annoy me, try, he was probably focused on getting his keys and just forgot. Notice how this internal shift, even without any external action, softens the feeling of irritation. You are building the muscle of grace.
Chapter 8. A.R.T. for the Self, Quieting the Inner Critic. There is one voice in your life you hear more than any other. It's not your partners, your bosses, or your favorite podcast hosts. It's the voice of your own inner narrator, the running commentary that accompanies you through every moment of your day. And for so many of us, that narrator is not a kind and supportive friend. It's a harsh, relentless drill sergeant. "You idiot! Why did you say that? You look awful today. You should have gone to the gym. Everyone else has it figured out. You're so far behind. Don't even try. You'll just fail anyway." This is the voice of the inner critic. It's the negative roommate who lives in your head rent-free, pointing out every mistake, highlighting every flaw, and replaying every embarrassing moment on a loop. We would never, ever speak to someone we love or even a stranger on the street with the same level of cruelty we so often direct at ourselves. Yet we accept this internal abuse as normal, as the background noise of our lives. This constant stream of self-judgment is more than just unpleasant. It's a chronic, self-inflicted stress. Every critical thought is a tiny paper tiger that activates your body's threat response, releasing a slow, steady drip of cortisol into your system. It keeps you in a perpetual state of low-grade fight or flight, making you anxious, exhausted, and robbing you of your capacity for joy and confidence. But what if you didn't have to live this way? What if you could learn to relate to yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you so freely offer to others? The A.R.T of the calm is not just a tool for navigating the external world. It is the most powerful practice for transforming your internal one. It is the key to quieting your inner critic and becoming your own greatest ally. Why we have an inner critic, the misguided protector. Before we can disarm the critic, we have to understand its origin story. Your inner critic isn't some evil entity that spontaneously appeared to make you miserable. In fact, its original intention was to protect you. Think back to our ancient ancestors. For them, social belonging wasn't a preference, it was a prerequisite for survival. Being accepted by the tribe meant access to food, shelter, and protection. Being rejected or cast out was a death sentence.
In that environment, the brain developed a powerful internal monitoring system, a critic whose entire job was to prevent you from doing anything that might get you kicked out of the group. It would whisper, "Don't speak up. You might say something foolish. Work harder, or they'll think you're lazy. Look like everyone else. Don't stand out." Its primary motivation was fear, and its primary tool was shame. It believed that by making you feel bad about your flaws, it could motivate you to fix them, and thus remain safe. The problem is, this ancient software is still running in our modern world. The critic still believes its job is to protect you by shaming you into perfection, but its tactics are hopelessly outdated. In today's world, this voice doesn't keep you safe, it keeps you small. It doesn't motivate you, it paralyzes you. Your protector has become your tormentor. The goal, then, is not to violently silence the critic. As we learned in Chapter 3, what you resist persists. Trying to fight the critic is just starting another war inside your own head. The goal is to change your relationship with it. It's to hear its voice, understand its misguided intention, and then consciously choose a different, wiser, and more compassionate response. Using A.R.T to befriend yourself. Let's apply our framework to this internal battleground. Step 1. Acknowledge the critic's voice. The critic's power lies in its ability to merge with your own identity. When it says, "You are a failure," you believe that you are a failure. The first step is to create separation. It's the act of noticing the thought without becoming the thought. Instead of letting the thought run the show, you observe it. You can even give it a label. "Ah, there's my inner drill sergeant again," or "That's my not good enough story." Use the phrasing, "I am having the thought that I am a failure." This simple shift in language is profound. It moves the thought from an undeniable fact to what it is,
a transient mental event. You are not the thought, you are the one aware of the thought. By simply acknowledging the critic's voice as something separate from your true self, you take back your power. You are no longer the subject of the criticism. You are the calm, curious witness to it. Step 2. Reframe with self-compassion. Once you've noticed the critical thought, you can actively reframe it.
The most powerful reframe for self-criticism is self-compassion. Kristen Neff, a leading researcher in this field, defines self-compassion as treating yourself with the same kindness you would show a good friend who is struggling. It's not about letting yourself off the hook. It's about motivating yourself with encouragement rather than shame. Here's how to reframe a critical thought using a lens of self-compassion. Shift from judgment to kindness. Ask yourself the single most powerful reframing question. What would I say to a friend who is in this exact situation? You would never call your friend an idiot for making a mistake. You'd say, "It's okay. That was a tough situation. You did your best." Now try offering that same kindness to yourself. Shift from isolation to common humanity. The critic loves to tell you that you are uniquely flawed. Everyone else is coping. What's wrong with me? The compassionate reframe is to remember that suffering and imperfection are universal parts of the human experience. Reframe the thought to, "It's normal to struggle with this. Many people feel this way sometimes. I am not alone." Shift from perfectionism to growth. The critic operates from a fixed mindset, believing that a single failure defines you forever. The reframe is to adopt a growth mindset. This mistake is not a verdict on my character, it's a data point. What can I learn from this? How can this help me grow? Let's see this in action with Daniel, who fumbled his words during an important client pitch. The critic's attack. "You fool! You completely blew it! You sounded like an amateur! They'll never take you seriously now." His A.R.T. response. Acknowledge. "Wow, that's a harsh voice. That's my inner critic on full volume." Reframe. He asks, "What would I say to a colleague?" The answer comes easily. "Hey, it happens to everyone. Public speaking is tough. You recovered well, and the rest of your points were solid. This one moment doesn't define the whole pitch." He then offers that same story to himself. Transition. See below. Step 3. Transition with a soothing action. Your body internalizes self-criticism as a real threat. A self-compassionate transition is a physical gesture of care that soothes your nervous system and reinforces the message of safety. It's the physical embodiment of the kind reframe. Place a hand over your heart. This is a simple, powerful gesture. The gentle pressure and warmth are soothing and can stimulate the release of oxytocin, the love and connection hormone, which helps to calm the fear response. Give yourself a gentle hug. Cross your arms over your chest and give a light squeeze. This provides comforting physical containment. Speak the kind words aloud. Whisper the compassionate reframe to yourself. Hearing the words can make them feel more real and potent than just thinking them. For Daniel, after reframing the critical thought, he might pause, place a hand over his chest, take one deep breath, and whisper, "It's okay. I'm okay." This small act of physical kindness tells his body that the threat has passed. He is safe. This practice is not about pretending you are perfect. It is about accepting that you are not, and that this is okay. It is a commitment to stand by your own side, to be your own champion, especially when you stumble. Over time, the critic's voice may not disappear entirely, but it will grow quieter, and the voice of your inner ally, calm, kind, and wise, will become the one you hear the most. Your daily exhale. Chapter 8 in brief. Your inner critic is a misguided, ancient protector that uses shame and fear to keep you safe. But in the modern world, it only keeps you small and stressed.
The goal is not to fight the critic, but to change your relationship with it using the A.R.T framework. Acknowledge. Notice the critic's voice as separate from you. Label it, "That's my inner critic." This creates space. Reframe. Consciously replace the critical thought with self-compassion. Ask, "What would I say to a good friend?" Remind yourself that imperfection is part of our common humanity. Transition. Use a self-soothing physical gesture, like placing a hand over your heart, to calm your nervous system and reinforce the message of kindness. Your first dose of calm, the compassionate flip. Today, your practice is to become a detective for self-criticism and perform one compassionate flip. Catch one. Listen for your inner critic. Catch one specific, harsh thought you have about yourself. It might be about your work, your appearance, or something you did. Write it down. On a piece of paper or in a note on your phone, write down the critical thought exactly as you heard it. "I was so awkward in that conversation." Flip it. Below that, write down what you would say to a dear friend who said the exact same thing to you. "You were always so thoughtful in conversations." Maybe it felt awkward to you, but I bet the other person just enjoyed talking to you. Read the flip. Read the compassionate statement back to yourself out loud if possible. Feel the difference it makes. You are practicing the art of being your own best friend. Chapter 9. Building the habit, from a daily dose to a way of being. Imagine deciding to learn the piano. You buy the books, you learn the names of the notes, and you understand the theory of how chords are constructed. You know what you're supposed to do. But does that make you a pianist? Not yet. The knowledge only comes to life when you sit down at the keys day after day and practice your scales. At first, it's clumsy and slow. You have to consciously think about where to place each finger. But with consistent practice, something magical happens. Your fingers start to find the keys on their own. The music begins to flow, not from a place of strained thought, but from a deeper, more intuitive part of you. The A.R.T of calm is your new instrument. You've learned the notes: acknowledge, reframe, transition. You understand the theory of why it works. Now comes the most important part, the practice. This is the chapter where we move from knowing what to do to building the ingrained automatic habit of doing it. This is how we transform A.R.T from something you do into someone you are. The goal is to make your daily dose of calm as reflexive as buckling your seatbelt. You don't deliberate about it, you just do it. This state is what neuroscientists call automaticity. It's when a behavior moves from your conscious, effortful prefrontal cortex to your subconscious, efficient basal ganglia, the habit center of your brain. To get it there, we need to be intentional. Here are 3 simple, science-backed strategies to weave the A.R.T of calm into the very fabric of your life. 1. The piggyback method. Habit stacking for an overwhelmed brain. The biggest obstacle to starting a new habit isn't a lack of motivation. It's a lack of a clear cue. You might have the best intentions to practice A.R.T, but in the chaos of the day, you simply forget. The piggyback method, also known as habit stacking, a term popularized by author James Clear, solves this problem by linking your new desired habit, A.R.T, to a solid existing habit that you already do without thinking. The formula is simple. After or before current habit, I will, new A.R.T habit. Instead of relying on memory, you're letting your old habits become the trigger for your new one. You can use this for 2 types of practice. A, proactive practice, building your base. This is about practicing A.R.T when you're not stressed. It's like charging your battery so you have more capacity when you need it. After I pour my first cup of coffee, I will do 1 round of box breathing. After I sit down at my desk, I will do a 10-second tension check. Before I check my email for the first time, I will place a hand on my heart and set 1 positive intention for the day. Let's consider Alex, a freelance writer. He decides his cue will be opening his laptop. His new habit stack is, after I open my laptop to start work, I will perform 1 physiological sigh. It takes 5 seconds, but it starts his entire workday from a place of centered calm instead of reactive urgency. B. Reactive practice. In-the-moment resets. This is for building the habit of using A.R.T. as a circuit breaker right after a stressful event. After I hang up a difficult phone call, I will do the shoulder shrug and drop. After I send a high-stakes email, I will use the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding method. When I feel my jaw clench during a meeting, I will acknowledge the feeling and then press my feet into the floor. By creating these explicit recipes, you're giving your brain a clear plan. You're no longer hoping you'll remember to be calm. You're programming yourself to do it automatically. 2. The architect's method. Designing a calm environment. Your willpower is a finite resource. If you spend your whole day resisting temptation and fighting off stressful triggers, you'll have no energy left for conscious, positive change. A far more effective strategy is to become the architect of your environment. Stop trying to win the battle through sheer force of will, and instead design your surroundings so the calm choice is the easy choice. A. Reduce frictional cues for stress. Identify the things in your environment that constantly trigger your nervous system and intentionally reduce them. The notification tyranny. Turn off all non-essential notifications on your phone and computer. The constant dings and buzzes are a direct IV drip of stress hormones. You don't need to be alerted every time someone likes a photo. The email avalanche. Instead of having your email open all day, schedule specific times to check it, e.g. 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 4 p.m. This puts you in control rather than letting every incoming message derail your focus. The digital clutter. A cluttered desktop on your computer can create the same low-grade anxiety as a cluttered physical desk. Tidy it up. Create a calming minimalist screensaver. B. Add conscious cues for calm. Intentionally seed your physical and digital spaces with gentle reminders to practice your A.R.T. of calm. Sensory anchors. Remember the menu from Chapter 5? Place your chosen sensory anchor strategically. Put that smooth stone on your desk right next to your mouse. Place a small bottle of lavender oil by your keyboard. Visual reminders. Change your phone's lock screen to a photo of a peaceful nature scene or a simple word like breathe. Put a small sticky note with the letters A.R.T. on the corner of your monitor. Auditory cues. Create a calm playlist of instrumental music that you can put on during focused work or when you feel your stress levels rising. You're engineering your world to support your goal. You're making it easier to be calm and harder to be stressed. 3. The fitness method. Consistency over intensity. When people start a new fitness routine, they often make the mistake of going too hard, too fast. They try to run 5 miles on the first day, get sore and discouraged, and quit by week's end. The key to physical fitness is consistency, not intensity. It is far better to do 1 push-up every single day than to do 50 push-ups once and then nothing for a month. The same is true for building your calm muscle. The goal is not a heroic hour-long meditation session once a week. The goal is tiny, consistent reps every single day. Lower the bar. On days when you feel tired or overwhelmed, make the practice so easy you can't say no. Your goal might be, I will do just 1 conscious exhale. That's it. That still counts. It keeps the habit alive. Celebrate the small wins. At the end of the day, don't focus on the times you got stressed. Focus on the 1 or 2 times you remembered to use your A.R.T. practice. Acknowledge your effort. This positive reinforcement tells your brain, hey, that felt good. Let's do it again. Adopt a non-zero day mentality. No matter how chaotic the day gets, commit to doing at least 1 tiny A.R.T. practice, 1 conscious breath, 1 quick reframe. This ensures you never have a 0 day. You are always moving forward, even if the step is microscopic. This journey is not a pass-fail exam. It is a practice. And practice implies you don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up. By showing up day after day, you are doing more than just managing stress. You are slowly, deliberately, and powerfully recasting your identity. You are no longer just a person trying to feel calm.
You are becoming a calm person. Your daily exhale. Chapter 9 in Breathe. To make calm a lasting habit, you must move the art practice from a conscious effort to an automatic reflex. Automaticity. Use the piggyback method. Habit stacking. Link your art practice to an existing habit with the formula after current habit, I will A.R.T. practice. Use the architect's method, designing your environment. Make calm the easy choice by reducing stressful cues like notifications and adding calming cues like sensory anchors. Use the fitness method, consistency over intensity. Focus on small daily reps rather than infrequent heroic efforts. Aim for non-zero days where you do at least one tiny practice. Consistent practice is how you shift your identity from someone who does calming things to someone who is a calm person. Your first dose of calm. Design your first habit stack. Don't just read about it. Do it. Take 60 seconds right now to design your first official proactive habit stack. Choose your anchor habit. Pick one thing you already do every single day without fail. Example, brushing your teeth, starting the car, closing your laptop. Choose your micro reset. Pick one of the simplest resets from Chapter 5. Example, one physiological sigh or one round of the shoulder shrug and drop. Write your recipe. Combine them into the formula. Write it on a sticky note or in your phone. For example, after my feet hit the floor when I get out of bed, I will take one slow, conscious breath before doing anything else. Congratulations, you are no longer just hoping to be calmer. You are building the system that guarantees it.
Chapter 10. The Ripple Effect. Your calm is contagious. We began this journey together by looking inward. We explored the frantic, breathless world inside our own nervous systems. We learned to pause, to acknowledge our internal state, to reframe the stories we tell ourselves, and to transition our bodies back to a place of balance. This work is deeply personal. It's about taking care of yourself, reclaiming your peace, and lightening the weight of your own single day. If the journey ended there, it would be a worthy and life-changing endeavor. But it doesn't. The final, beautiful truth of this practice is that the calm you cultivate within yourself does not stay there. Like the heat from a fire or the light from a lamp, it radiates outward. Your calm is not a private possession. It is a public good. It is a gift you give to every single person you interact with. This is the ripple effect. Have you ever walked into a room where an argument has just taken place? You can't see it, but you can feel it. The air is thick with tension. Your own body instinctively tenses up in response. Conversely, have you ever been around someone who is so grounded and at ease that you feel your own shoulders relax just by being near them? This is not a mystical phenomenon. This is biology. It's a powerful neuroscientific concept called co-regulation. Our nervous systems are not self-contained, isolated units. They are open, resonant circuits, constantly and unconsciously communicating with one another. From the moment we are born, our nervous system learns to regulate itself by attuning to the regulated nervous systems of our caregivers. A baby crying in distress is soothed not by logic, but by being held against the steady, calm rhythm of a parent's heartbeat and breathing. The parent's calm literally calms the child's body. This process never stops. As adults, we are constantly catching the emotional states of those around us through a network of specialized brain cells called mirror neurons. When you see someone smile, your own brain's smile circuits light up.
When you are with an anxious, frantic person, your own nervous system begins to rev up in sympathetic resonance. And when you are with a calm, centered person, your nervous system receives a powerful signal of safety. It thinks, they are not threatened. The environment must be safe. I can stand down.
Every time you use the A.R.T. of calm, you are not just regulating yourself. You are becoming a force for co-regulation in the world. You are becoming the calm presence in the room that allows others to find their own. Your calm rippling outward. Think about the domains of your life where we've applied this practice. In your family, when you respond to your child's tantrum, not with a triggered yell, but with a grounded, A.R.T.-fueled presence, Chapter 7, you do more than just de-escalate the situation. You are actively teaching your child's developing nervous system how to handle big emotions. You are wiring their brain for resilience. Your calm becomes their inheritance. When you navigate a disagreement with your partner by regulating yourself first, you create the safety needed for real connection. You stop the cycle of mutual hijacking and create a space where both of you can be heard. Your calm becomes the foundation of your intimacy. At your work, when your team is panicking about a deadline and you are the one who acknowledges the stress, reframes it as a solvable challenge, and transitions the group with a call for one deep breath before diving into solutions, Chapter 6, you become the leader everyone turns to in a crisis. You don't just manage the project, you manage the energy. Your calm becomes the team's anchor. With yourself, when you meet your own mistakes, not with the harsh whip of the inner critic, but with the gentle hand of self-compassion, Chapter 8, that kindness begins to seep into your every interaction. A person who is at peace with their own imperfections is far more accepting of the imperfections of others. A person who is not at war with themselves brings peace to every room they enter. Your inner calm becomes your outer grace. This is the most profound reframe of all. The pursuit of calm is not a selfish act of self-improvement. It is one of the most generous and impactful things you can do for the world. In a society that is literally sick with stress, anxiety, and division, a regulated nervous system is a radical act of healing for you and for everyone you touch. A world of thermostats. Imagine a world where more of us learn to be the thermostat instead of the thermometer. Imagine workplaces where pressure was met with presence. Imagine families where conflict was met with connection. Imagine comment sections on the internet where reactivity was met with regulation. It sounds like a fantasy, but it's not. It happens one person at a time.
It happens one moment at a time. It happens every time someone like you makes the conscious choice to stop, to breathe, and to use the A.R.T. of calm. You are a single, powerful point of change. You are a ripple in the pond. This book is not an end point. It is a beginning. It is an invitation to a practice that will evolve with you for the rest of your life. There will be days you forget. There will be moments you get hijacked. The goal was never perfection. The goal was and is to have a path back home to yourself. You now have that path. You have the tools. You know the way. The breathless world will not stop rushing. The demands will not disappear. The paper tigers will continue to roar from our screens. But you are different now. You no longer have to be a casualty of the chaos. You have the art of the inner reset. You know how to find your footing, how to change the story, and how to signal safety to your own body. You know how to take your daily exhale. And when you do, you offer everyone around you the chance to breathe a little easier too. Conclusion: your first exhale. We are at the end of the book, but at the very beginning of your practice. Before you close these pages and re-enter the rush of your life, I want you to give yourself one final gift, a first dose of this new way of being. Wherever you are right now, just pause. Let your shoulders soften away from your ears. Feel the weight of your body in your chair or your feet on the floor. Now, take a slow, deliberate breath in and let it go with a long, complete exhale. That's it. That is a dose of calm. That is where it all begins. It is not a destination you must strive for, but a state you can return to again and again. It is always available to you, right here, in the quiet sanctuary of your own breath. Thank you for taking this journey. Now go and be the calm you wish to see in the world. Your Daily Exhale. Chapter 10 in brief. The calm you cultivate is not just for you, it is contagious. This is the science of co-regulation, where your regulated nervous system can help calm those around you. Your A.R.T practice has a ripple effect, positively impacting your family, your workplace, and your community. Responding to a child's tantrum with calm teaches them emotional regulation. Navigating conflict with a partner from a grounded state builds intimacy. Being a calm presence at work makes you a more effective and resilient leader.
Practicing inner calm and self-compassion makes you more accepting and graceful with others. The pursuit of calm is not a selfish act, but a generous one, a gift to yourself and to the world. Your final dose of calm. Set the first ripple in motion. Your final practice is to consciously share your calm. Think of one person you will interact with today, your partner, your child, a colleague, a cashier. Before you interact with them, take 30 seconds to do a mini A.R.T check-in with yourself. Acknowledge your state, set a kind intention, reframe, and take a calming breath. Transition. Enter that interaction with the sole purpose of bringing your most grounded, present self to the conversation. Notice what happens. Notice how your calm energy changes the dynamic even in a small way. You are now consciously creating the ripple effect.